Top three things: U.S. dollar 10-year bond yield and Japanese government bonds. First thing on the U.S. dollar. So yesterday was a two-taper day. So what you had yesterday was the dollar up, gold down, stocks down, bonds down. That's what happens if we taper. You know that's what's going to happen if we taper. That's what was happening between January and September, to taper. That would be good for the long-term U.S. bull market case on the economic side. Now, don't confuse that with a stock market that goes up, particularly that is driven by things that are inflationary as opposed to growth-oriented. So, again, the dollar specifically is our lead dog on that. We shorted the dollar. We'll be shorting it again this morning because, again, to repeat, we do not think that Bernanke has the spine to taper. Point number two, 10-year bond yield, banging the top end of the risk range here, that almost 2.91% is the top end of the risk range. So what you have here into the to taper or not to taper is a risk range in the 10-year bond yield. So I think that that's actually exactly what's going to happen here. You can bang the top end of the range, 289, 291-ish on the 10-year bond yield, and then he doesn't taper, and then you drop 15, 20 basis points from there. So again, that's the way that you would play that if, in fact, you're on our side of the coin. And then finally, on Japanese government bond yields, don't look now, don't tell anyone about this, especially people at the Fed, that bond yields could start to actually go up when the government doesn't ask them to. This is what's happening in Japan. A 15% move, in fact, in the 10-year bond yield in Japan, which on a nominal basis, people say, oh, that's only 9 basis points. Well, that's the point. It's called asymmetry. When people promise you that interest rates will be zero forever, and in the case of Japan, that's actually happened, you do develop a ton of asymmetric risk. So, again, looking at that because that's new, the Japanese government bond yield on the 10-year is at 0.68% this morning versus 0.59% a month ago, and those are your top three things.